Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're plunging into, well, a truly fascinating market. It sits right at the intersection of traditional art and cutting-edge technology. Computerized quilting machines. Now, it might sound a bit niche,
It might, yeah.
but the scale, the trajectory of this industry, it's genuinely surprising. Okay, let's unpack this.
Indeed. And our mission today really is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight. We're working from a comprehensive market forecast report by Cognitive Market Research.
Right.
And what's fascinating here isn't just that this market exists, but its sheer scale and, its consistent growth.
Okay.
Globally, we're talking over $1 billion in 2021. The exact figure, $1,036.6 million.
Wow.
And that's projected to climb significantly. We're looking at almost $1.9 billion by 2033, $1,861.59 million, to be precise.
Okay, nearly $1.9 billion.
Yeah, and that's underpinned by a strong and steady compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of 5%.
5%.
For what might seem like, a specialized market, that consistent growth, it tells us a lot about its underlying vitality.
Over $1 billion, heading towards $2 billion.
Yeah.
That's a remarkable acceleration, especially, as you said, for a market that maybe feels niche.
It really is.
So what does this consistent 5% global growth actually tell us? I mean, about the broader trends maybe driving demand for these machines.
Well, I think it tells us that while quilting is, a deeply traditional craft, it's fully embracing modern technology.
Right.
This isn't just about more people picking up a needle, maybe. It's about quilters, hobbyists, even small businesses.
Yeah.
They're investing in these high-end tools.
Tools that save time, improve precision.
Exactly. Save time, improve precision, expand creative possibilities. It probably reflects a broader consumer trend, too. People investing significantly in their hobbies and personal expression.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, so where is this growth most prominent? Let's zero in on North America first. The report says it's one of the largest markets.
North America certainly leads the way in size, yeah. Back in 2021, the region recorded sales of just under $365 million.
Oh.
That's growing to over $435 million by 2025, and then expanding to over $614 million by 2033.
So still growing quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. This reflects a solid regional CAGR of around 4.4%. It's definitely a foundational market, showing, mature yet consistent expansion.
Right. And within North America, the United States clearly dominates the market in sheer volume, right? $295 million in 2021, heading towards what, $468 million by 2033?
That's right. The U.S. is the giant, about a 3.9% CAGR there, steady.
But what's surprising maybe when you dig into the numbers, other countries in the region, they're showing even stronger growth rates, proportionally speaking. What's driving that faster adoption in places like Canada and Mexico?
Yeah, that's where it gets interesting. So while the U.S. market is large and steady, growing at nearly 4%, Canada, it's posting a more robust 5.6% CAGR.
5.6%.
Its market is set to nearly double, from about $51.5 million in 2021 to over $97 million by 2033. But the real standout, you're right, is Mexico. It presents the highest growth rate in the region, a remarkable 7.035% CAGR.
Over 7%.
Yes. Its market is projected to almost triple, from just over $18 million in 2021 to nearly $50 million by 2033.
So what does that suggest?
It suggests, well, a powerful surge in accessibility, perhaps.
Yeah.
And interest, maybe linked to a growing middle class, or just increased exposure to these modern crafting tools in those economies.
Fascinating. Okay, moving across the pond then. Let's shift our focus to Europe, another very significant market, according to the report.
Yep.
Do we see similar patterns of growth there, or are there sort of different dynamics at play?
Europe presents a similar picture of strong, consistent growth, though, with its own regional nuances, of course.
Okay.
The market there was nearly $300 million in 2021. That's projected to exceed $350 million by 2025, and then reach over $500 million by 2033.
$500 million. And the CAGR.
For CAGR is about 4.5%, so pretty healthy.
Right. And looking at the leading countries in Europe, the UK really stands out, doesn't it?
It does.
It's projected to nearly double its market size, from around $63 million in 2021 to almost $120 million by 2033. That's a, 5.4% CAGR?
5.418%, yeah. Very strong for the UK. Germany follows its market growing from $48 million to over $85 million. That's close to a 5% CAGR.
Almost 5%. And France, also a significant player.
France, too. Growing from about $43.6 million to over $71 million by 2033. That's just over a 4.2% CAGR. So still solid.
Okay. And beyond those big three?
Well, beyond those major players, we see consistent, although, varied, growth across the continent. Countries like Italy, Russia, Spain, they're showing steady expansion.
What kind of rates are we talking there?
Typically in the 3% to 3.8%
Yeah.
CAGR range for those.
Okay.
But interestingly, some smaller markets are also demonstrating surprisingly robust growth.
Like who?
Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland.
Yeah.
They're all seeing growth rates above 4%. And Luxembourg, for instance, is projecting a notable 4.769% CAGR.
Luxembourg. Interesting.
Yeah, nearly doubling its market from $12.4 million in 2021 to over $21 million by 2033.
So that widespread growth, even in smaller places, it really underscores the broad appeal of this technology, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's not just concentrated in the big economies.
Okay, now, here's where it gets really interesting, as the report highlights. Let's talk Asia-Pacific. APAC is showing some of the fastest growth globally.
It really is. APAC is definitely the hotbed of growth right now.
Is this growth primarily driven by the giants, like China? Or are there other emerging players we should watch, maybe accelerating even faster?
It's a mix, but the overall picture is very dynamic. So the region recorded almost $219 million back in 2021.
Okay.
That's set to reach over $270 million by 2025, before a really significant jump to over $433 million by 2033.
Over $430 million.
And boasting the highest regional CAGR. We'll get to Africa later, but APAC is over 6%, 6.021% to be exact.
6%, okay. And China is leading the charge there, I assume.
China's definitely leading in volume, yeah.
Oh.
Its market is expected to more than double, from $71.3 million in 2021 to over $143 million by 2033.
And the CAGR for China?
An impressive 6.181%. Japan also contributes significantly, of course.
Yeah.
Its market expands from nearly $45 million to over $83 million.
Okay.
That's a 5.3% CAGR.
Still very healthy.
Very healthy. But the real star performer in Asia-Pacific, demonstrating that kind of accelerated growth we talked about in Mexico, that's India.
India, okay. What are the numbers?
It boasts the highest CAGR in the region, over 7.1%,
Yeah.
7.176%.
Wow.
Starting at $25.3 million in 2021, its market is projected to more than double, hitting over $56 million by 2033.
That really highlights the potential, doesn't it? When technology meets a burgeoning consumer base like India's.
Absolutely. It's incredible potential. And we also see strong performance elsewhere. South Korea, Australia, both over 5% CAGR.
Right.
And Singapore. Singapore is posting nearly 7.1% growth as well, almost tripling its market by 2033, albeit from a smaller base, around $9.6 million in 2021.
Still, nearly 7.1% is huge.
It is. And Southeast Asia as a whole, plus Taiwan. They also demonstrate very healthy growth rates, all above 5.8%. So broad strength across APAC.
Okay. Impressive stuff in Asia. Next, let's take a quick look at the South American market. What's the story there? Smaller market, I gather.
It is smaller in absolute terms, yes, but still on a strong upward trajectory. It stood at just over $60 million in 2021.
Okay.
And it's projected to reach over $100 million, $103.964 million by 2033. So it's growing.
And the growth rate.
Posting a healthy CAGR of 4.637%. So, solid growth.
Right. And Brazil leads the pack there.
Brazil's the biggest, yes.
Yeah.
Its market growing from about $25.5 million in 2021 to over $46 million by 2033. That's a solid 5.1% CAGR.
5.1%.
And we see very similar robust growth across other South American nations, too. Argentina, for example, is projected to nearly double its market, from $11.7 million to over $20 million by 2033. That's a 4.8% CAGR.
Okay.
Colombia is also growing strongly, over 4.9%. Peru and Chile showing consistent expansion, typically around the 4% mark.
So again, steady adoption across the continent, it seems.
It does indicate that, yes.
All right. Shifting focus again. Let's talk about the Middle East. The report mentions promising expansion there. What's driving growth in that region?
Yeah, the Middle East region, it records sales of almost $49 million in 2021.
Okay.
And this is expected to rise to over $93 million by 2033. That puts it at a respectable CAGR of 5.452%.
5.45%. So a growing appetite for these high-tech craft machines there, too.
Seems so. Indicates that, yeah.
And within the Middle East, Saudi Arabia looks significant.
Saudi Arabia is a key market. It contributed about $17.2 million in 2021, and it's projected to reach over $34 million by 2033. That's a nearly 6% CAGR.
5.921%.
Nearly 6%. And Turkey, also strong.
Turkey also shows significant numbers, growing from around $14.5 million to over $26.7 million by 2033. That's a 5.2% CAGR. And we also see very strong growth in other areas. The UAE, for example, posting an impressive 6.3% in the UAE. its market's expected to more than double, from about $6.9 million to over $14 million by 2033.
6.3% in the UAE, and Qatar too, demonstrating high growth. A 5.584% CAGR, nearly doubling its market, though starting smaller at $1.75 million.
So it suggests, what, a broadening of consumer interests, a readiness to invest in advanced tools across these, well, dynamic economies?
I think that's a fair assessment, yes, a readiness to invest.
Okay, finally, let's turn our attention to Africa. The report flags this as a rapidly accelerating market for computerized quilting machines. What's making this region leap forward so quickly? It seems quite dramatic.
It really is. I'd say this is truly the most impressive region if you're looking at percentage growth.
Right.
Africa generated just over $46 million in 2021. That's $46.647 million.
Okay.
And is projected to dramatically reach over $113 million by 2033. $113.432 million.
Wow, more than double.
Significantly more than double. This translates to a very strong CAGR of 6.871%, which, as you noted, is actually the highest regional CAGR globally.
That is incredible, almost 7%. And Nigeria seems to be contributing significantly to this growth.
Nigeria is a big part of it, yes.
Yeah.
Its market is also more than doubling, from $27.7 million in 2021 to over $63 million by 2033. That's a 6.5% CAGR.
What makes Nigeria such a powerhouse in this specific context, do you think?
Well, Nigeria's growth is likely a testament to its large and rapidly expanding consumer base, plus increasing access to technology.
Makes sense.
But South Africa is another real highlight, showing even higher growth.
Higher than Nigeria.
Yeah, a 7.194% CAGR for South Africa. Its market is nearly tripling, from about $8.9 million in 2021 to almost $23 million by 2033.
Tripling. Amazing.
And what's even more fascinating, perhaps, the report breaks out a Rest of Africa segment.
Okay.
And that segment shows the highest overall CAGR in the entire continent, 7.39%.
Whoa. Higher than South Africa even.
Exactly, more than doubling its collective market from about $10 million in 2021 to over $27 million by 2033.
So what does this all mean? I mean, this rapid acceleration across the whole African continent.
Well, I think it points to burgeoning economies, clearly. A growing interest in creative pursuits, maybe entrepreneurial ones too.
Right.
And just an increasing embrace of modern tools to enhance traditional skills. It's a really powerful signal of market maturation and technological adoption happening fast.
Well, I think what it means is clear. The computerized quilting machines market is, well, unequivocally set on a strong global growth trajectory.
No doubt about it.
This report from Cognitive Market Research really reinforces that idea. Rising demand across all major regions, North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, South America, the Middle East, and especially Africa. It presents truly lucrative opportunities, driven by the intriguing blend of tradition and tech.
Absolutely. And that leads us to a, fascinating thought perhaps for you, the listener, to consider.
Okay.
What does this surprising, consistent growth in computerized quilting machines, what does it really tell us about the future of traditional crafts, especially when they intersect so powerfully with technological innovation?
Good question.
And how might this trend influence other artisanal fields, perhaps bridging that gap between historical practices and modern capabilities, maybe in ways we haven't even fully imagined yet?